People often approach their personal projects with rigid expectations. We assume that input directly dictates output. If someone spends 10 hours on a painting, they anticipate a specific quality of finish. This perspective assumes human agency remains the only force at play. However, physical reality provides a different lesson. When we merge specific elements under high pressure, the results frequently defy our original plans. This discrepancy creates a tension between our desire for order and the actual nature of creative work. We find ourselves standing at the edge of what we can predict, watching our intentions dissolve into something beyond our command. Firing raw clay inside a kiln is like mixing unstable chemicals in a glass flask, because the internal heat triggers reactions that no human hand can fully dictate. Once the door closes, the maker loses oversight of the chemical shifts occurring within the chamber. The intensity of the environment alters the structure of the materials in ways that transcend the initial composition. This phenomenon proves that our influence over a project ends when we introduce external forces. We might choose the clay or the temperature, but the flame decides the final density and color. Accepting this lack of oversight changes our relationship with the outcome. We stop viewing the result as a direct reflection of our skill and begin to see it as a product of environmental variables. The artisan becomes a facilitator of change instead of a sole creator. By releasing the need for total precision, we allow the process to reveal possibilities that our limited imagination could not have conceived. This shift in perspective reduces the weight of expectation on our shoulders. Imagine a musician recording a track in a studio. They arrive with precise notes and a clear vision for the melody. During the session, an equipment malfunction creates a strange, distorted feedback loop. Instead of stopping the recording, the musician decides to incorporate this accidental sound into the composition. The final song contains a texture that was never part of the original score. The audience praises the track for its depth and emotional resonance. The musician realizes that the most compelling part of the work emerged from a technical error. If they had insisted on fixing the equipment immediately, the song would have remained flat and predictable. They learned that their role was to curate the environment for discovery. The success of the project depended on their willingness to adapt to the unexpected noise. This scenario demonstrates how external factors can elevate a simple idea into something substantial. It shows that rigidity often blocks the path to genuine innovation. I find that our obsession with total mastery often prevents us from doing meaningful work. We treat our lives like blueprints that must be followed without deviation. When we encounter a variable that disrupts our plan, we label it as a failure. This mindset is fundamentally flawed because it ignores the reality of creative emergence. My own experiences with complex tasks have taught me that the best results come when I stop fighting the environment. If I focus on the conditions of my work instead of the final form, I find more peace. We spend so much energy trying to minimize risk that we lose the capacity for surprise. The act of letting go requires a level of maturity that is rare in our culture. We are taught to measure our worth by our ability to control our surroundings. I argue that we should measure our worth by our ability to remain present during the process of change. The goal is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to integrate it into our personal identity. How do we redefine our purpose when we accept that our efforts are only one part of a larger equation? We often mistake our ability to influence a situation for the power to dictate its conclusion. This misunderstanding leads to unnecessary frustration when reality takes an unexpected turn. By observing how materials interact under pressure, we gain a clearer understanding of our own limitations. We are participants in a larger sequence of events that we do not fully manage. Perhaps the most meaningful part of our lives is found in the moments where our plans fail to materialize. What remains for us to explore once we stop trying to command every detail?